Good morning, YouTube. It is Black Friday.
Ooh.
What are you going to be shopping for?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. This is a tough question. I feel like I have everything I've ever wanted.
Oh, well, that's nice. I'm always shopping for cars. Cars.
You are actually.
That's all I ever do,
He's
shop
like
for cars.
always on his phone and his computer, and you'd think he'd like be talking to, who knows, having some crazy weird affair or something, but like he's literally obsessed all day long looking at cars. Like,
look at that car.
Upset. Like the other day we're driving and he sees this Oldsmobile Bravada. Do you know how excited? He's watching it like the hottest chick was going across the street. Because, oh, did you see that?
It was amazing to see one still on the road. It's so rare.
And then he goes, mark my words, we're not going to see another one of those for another 4 to 5 years. Mark my words.
That's not weird at all.
Obsessed. All right, let's
go.
But
what has been weird is the car market for the last several years. There's been no deals to be had at all because there's been such a low supply. Demand's been insane. But now that supply is catching up and interest rates are so high and cars are so expensive that we're finally seeing some insane deals when it comes to Black Friday. And a lot of them have to do with electric vehicles. Now, a lot of these are discounts that are listed on Forbes, the biggest discounts, but there's cars that have just lowered their prices entirely. Like Lucid, a competitor to Tesla, dropped their prices 10, 20 grand over the last year. Tesla, huge price drops, similar percentages.
Is it normal for for Black Friday sales for cars? Because everything else goes on sale, but I didn't think it was for cars too.
In the before time, very normal. They need to move 2023 cars. It's getting towards the end of the year. 2024s are coming in. So a lot of finance, like 0% was a big thing back in the day. And rebates. You would have cash back, which is some big ones this year, mostly on electric cars because demand for electric cars has been a lot lower than what they anticipated. So like the Audi RS e-tron GT.
Right.
Very expensive car, but they're offering $30,000 cash back. 30 grand off a brand new car if you buy one.
That means that they're making so much money off of every sale of these cars.
Not
to offer
necessarily.
30 grand cash back.
No.
So are they going to be losing money?
They're losing big money on these electric cars because they're developing them. There's a lot of R&D that goes into it. The cost of the car is probably not that much, but all the development, the battery technology, all the investment in the infrastructure and all this is absolutely massive.
Right.
So, but there are some normal cars on here. Like it's a lot of Audis. The Audi S8, very cool car, but people aren't buying big sedans anymore. $20,000 off. And then a lot of electric cars. And Audi e-tron, another $20,000 off. Hyundais, which are reasonably priced but more expensive because they're EVs, $7,500 cash back, which they may be trying to make up for the EV credit going away. I'm not sure on the specifics. But the other big thing, trucks. If you scroll down, like trucks are so expensive now, brand new, that people aren't buying them when they have like a fully loaded truck is a $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 proposition. So even with a Dodge Ram and like a GMC Sierras, they're having up to $5,000 in rebates right now.
That's great. You know what they should do for the Black Friday sale is if you're getting an electric car, give away a free battery for the life of the car. When your battery starts dying, just automatically get a new one in the mail. Then it would be worth spending, what, 100 grand on an electric car?
If the factory was doing that, that'd be okay. But if a dealership was doing that, they'd be bankrupt.
Yeah.
Because the batteries will cost more than any money they ever made on the car.
Which I feel like that's the biggest hesitation why people don't want to sort of invest in a car, which you're never really investing in a car unless there are certain cars. But this electric craze, like you are out of a car in what, 3-4 years if it's an electric car because the battery is just getting drained and drained and drained. We need to figure this out.
But speaking of electric cars and dealers going bankrupt, a lot of people think, and a lot of manufacturers think, that new car dealerships just need to go away. They just need to be gone. All of this little goofiness with price and rebates and negotiation and dealers making, being the brokers, the middleman in between the manufacturers, it's not necessary anymore.
No.
Tesla has proved that it can be very successful just having kiosks in a mall, or not really kiosks, but little stores in the mall and things. And Lucid has followed suit. And now Hyundai has announced a big deal that they're going to start selling cars on Amazon.
You're kidding.
So now a Hyundai dealer is just the delivery center where the car just shows up and you take it. Everything is done online through Amazon. And then these dealerships, they become used car dealers, obviously, but they mostly become glorified delivery centers or service centers.
Right. Well, it should be that way because I feel like the consumer, if you're not into cars at all, you're just a target that they see walking up. They're like, okay, how am I going to take advantage of you? Is it going to be through your trade-in? Is it going to be this hidden fee here, hidden fee here? I'm going to talk you up. Like, there's so many, manipulation tactics that salesmen use.
So I'm mixed on this because I was in the car business for a very long time. 10 years as a car dealer, still sort of have my dealer's license and keep my toes in the water.
Yes.
There is definitely a use for this because manufacturers aren't going to be as quick and reactive to prices. So a car's on the lot for a long time, a dealer can discount it more. They'll make it up on a one that's hot on the lot. If they're having issues with inventory on a big scale with the manufacturer, it's going to be so tough for them to keep track of thousands of cars individually and price it accurately. Same with being able to go up and offer a fair price for a car. It's just going to be really hard. A dealer is more reactive to a situation like that. But dealers, they can't help themselves. They have given themselves such a bad reputation, especially in this time of crazy, hard to get cars, of marking things up so much, taking allocations away from people, their orders, saying, oh, you can't get it now, and then selling it for $10,000 or $15,000 over to other people. They've done so many scummy things with financing. There's a story in it every week, and part of it is the manufacturer not really keeping a thumb on these people from, just stopping them from being scummy, even though they have surveys and such.
Have you ever bought a car from a dealer that you just completely trusted every word that came out of his mouth, no matter what, or her mouth?
Well, I do have some friends in the car business that I'm very close with. Euro-Asian Bob, for example, is a good friend of mine. And then, of course, Eddie Chevrolet Cadillac, which is the store I used to work at. I've done several deals with them. I believe what they say, but I'm an exception, obviously, because I was a car dealer forever.
But I feel like the normal person, us peasants here, every dealer we talk to, we're, what are they actually doing? What are they saying? Oh, they need to go in the back room to talk to their manager. And there's always some tricks, and you never feel comfortable, where I feel like at a Tesla store or the McLaren store at the Wynn Hotel or something like that is more kind of a professional upfront. Here are the prices, here are your upgrades and the prices for the upgrades, and that's it. That's the bottom line. I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, it's the same with any other thing that you go and buy. So you don't go to Walmart and expect to get screwed over. Or, even going to, I guess, a hot tub store or mattresses or whatever, they can be a little weird. But, yeah.
I think it should be just, here's what the price is, and that's it, and that's the bottom line. No more tricks, no more hidden fees, no more hidden upgrades, downgrades, whatever it is. Just one price, and that's the bottom line.
So, April wants car dealerships to go away. I enjoy the process, the little dance with the car salesman and getting the deals.
Negotiating, can I tell you?
I'll spend all day negotiating.
Let me tell you, in his sleep, he sleep talks or talks in his sleep about negotiations about cars. I'm not kidding you. So that is what goes on in Tyler Hoover's head 24/7.
We'll see what the future holds, but for now, there's some good deals if you want to buy an electric car.
So when you were a dealer, where did you do it out of?
My first job was at CarMax, which is a no negotiation store. It was very early. Opened the store in Wichita, Kansas in 2006.
Yeah.
And it was a new concept where you can't haggle on a car at all. Even though they were used cars. The price is what you pay. And there's no negotiating. And people didn't get that. I would tell them this. They had a whole monologue set up for us, for everyone that walked in the store, that we had to memorize, rehearse in front of them, and the same script for everybody. They would walk into the store, and I would show them a Saturn on the showroom floor, a bright red Saturn Ion. See this beautiful car? We would never sell you this car because this is how it looked before. It was wrecked and then repaired by a body shop, like a really bad accident. And people would look at that and say, well, if it was wrecked before, would you give me a better deal on it? And I think, no, we're showing you that we wouldn't sell bad cars. And we're all just sort of a fixed price. We are very in tune to the market. The next step was to take them over to the computer and ask them what they were looking for. But this is pretty new with computers, and people they want to go out and look at the cars. So they're so annoyed that I'm doing all this, the whole song and dance and everything. It takes 5 minutes before they're going out to look at the cars. And we finally go out there. I hated the process. It took me 3 weeks to sell my first car.
You're kidding.
Everybody else had sold cars and I was a failure.
Was there still negotiations?
There was no negotiation at all. That's why people were so mad at me.
Obviously, I'm still asking.
I'm like 18 years old and thinking, this is what I've wanted to do my whole life, and I suck at it. Everybody else is selling cars, and I can't sell cars.
So really there wasn't, because I still don't believe you. I still feel like CarMax, you
No,
can still go in
there's
and
no
get
negotiation.
$500 off somewhere if you speak to the right person in the nicest way.
Nope. There's a little employee discount, but no, there isn't. So when I made my first sale, it was a Chevy Trailblazer. The guy had $5,000 cash down. He put it on the desk. I realized I was going to make my first sale. I was shaking with adrenaline.
Yes.
And I was off for the races. But I left CarMax because it was too annoying because of the no negotiation. So I actually went to a Chevy dealership, which is still open today. I still do business with. They've changed owners. But the first person I ever walked up and talked to, young guy, living with his parents, working at one of the aircraft companies here in Wichita, but no overhead. So he has this truck, an older Chevy pickup truck. He's trading in for a new one, the 2007. New 2007s had just come out. You want to test drive it? No, I just want the truck. We bid his trade. He has $10,000 in negative equity, which means he owes $10,000 more than what it's worth.
Oh gosh.
Didn't negotiate on the price. Sold him full sticker, every single thing we could get him with. And I'm sort of new to this dealership. This is the first guy I've ever walked up and talked to as an official salesman for this store.
Right.
So I didn't know all the tricks or anything, and didn't realize I was just totally beating this guy over the head because my manager was kind of just walking me through all of it. And GMAC at the time, General Motors Bank, approved it.
You're kidding?
So,
okay, you got
full
it.
sticker on the truck, all the fluff you can put in, all the taxes, $10,000 rolled in on top of that. That guy was buried forever.
That's the worst.
And I made $1,500.
So what did you do with that $1,500?
I went to Ultimate Electronics and bought a plasma screen TV. Spent every dime of it. Bought that plasma screen TV because I thought that was going to happen every single day. That's what happens in the car business. And it didn't happen the next day or the next day or the next day. And I learned a lot.
Did that guy ever come back and say you ripped me off or you screwed me over?
No, but they never should have approved that loan.
Right.
And actually General Motors, their bank, the whole company went bankrupt in 2009 during the recession because they were taking these really bad loans.
Right.
So the guy, if he repoed, then, say he owed 50 grand on that truck, and now a year later he lost his job, got laid off or whatever, and the truck's worth 25, 27. The money's gone, and basically that's one of the reasons why GM went bankrupt.
Right. And as the transaction's going on and you know what's happening, does your manager say just to keep quiet, to hush up, or do you want to let him know?
Oh, I didn't know in the first one.
Right.
But then later I started to know, and I knew that I'd go over to the used car manager to bid the trade-ins, and then I'd get the number, and then the manager would take a couple $1,000s away from it just to pocket for extra profit for us.
Right.
And to give us room for negotiation.
Right.
It was called holding back on the trade, a very common thing to do.
Right.
A lot of shady things car dealers do.
Right. Which is why the prices should just be what it's at, and that's it. Bottom
Well,
line.
but trade-ins, it's a moving game because you don't know what your trade-in. It's a very subjective. You could go to 5 different places and they would give you 5 different numbers. There's not really a set, number.
You're right. So you're not going to work at CarMax anymore.
No, and I had my own car dealership forever, but I was the worst car dealer ever because I wanted to keep all the cars. I was like a drug dealer trying to do all of his own drugs. I just had to keep everything. So I got out of it, got into burgers, then got into YouTube, then got into April Rose.
Sorry.
Hi.
There's also an addiction.
That's a great summation of my life right there. But yeah, there's some great Black Friday deals out there if you are looking for them. And April was the best deal I ever got.
I can't return me.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, there's Neelix the whole time. It's over there. Hi, Neelix.
Thank you so much for watching. And I'm in the doghouse now, aren't I?
The cat house.
Oh, the cat house.
Neelix lives here.
And then next you're supposed to walk them over to the computer and ask them what car that they wanted. And ask them. And then the next step was to walk them over to the computer and ask them. I can't say ask.
You did. It sounded
I didn't say
fine.
ask. I asked you a few questions.
It's like Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Yes. Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Did you do that at CarMax?
I'm missing the K. No, I did not do that at CarMax.
Okay.